Welcome to the lecture, guys. In this lecture, we'll be discussing about NEET 2020 physics attempt. My name is Anmol Kumar. I am MTech in Aerospace Engineering from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and your instructor at IITPathshala.com. So let us start the lecture. Now, before going into the lecture, please like, share, and subscribe my channel, and please support me, guys. Now, let us start with the lecture. For which one of the following your Bohr model is not valid? Hydrogen-like atom, it is valid. He plus, it is valid. For deuteron, it is valid, but it is not valid for single ionized neon plus atom. By the theory, I can say that. Okay, so option 4 is the correct option. Now, in the second, he is saying that the ratio of contribution made by electric field and the magnetic field component to the intensity of electromagnetic wave is. Now, from the theory itself, you should be knowing that the energy density for both of the components are same. Okay, the energy density for the electric component is equal to the energy density for the magnetic component. Both are having the same energy density. So I can say that my second option is correct. The ratio will be 1 by 1. Contribution will be 1 by 1. Now, the Brewster angle over here. The Brewster angle IB for an interface should be. Now, you'll be knowing that from the Brewster law, you write mu equal to 10 IB. Okay. Now, as you know that mu is greater than 1, replace mu by the following formula by the Brewster. 10I should be greater than 1, that is I should be greater than 45 degree. Now in the following option, if I check, only third option is the correct option. Okay, mu should be greater than 45 degree, so third option is my correct option. Okay, now let us move to the next. A cylinder contains hydrogen gas at pressure of 249 kilopascal at temperature 27 degrees Celsius. Now, in this question, various students have made mistake because they have considered hydrogen as H only. But as you know that hydrogen cannot exist as H only. Okay, it exists as H2. Okay, so by the direct formula P equal to rho RT by molecular weight of the gas, you can say that the molecular weight of the gas should not be equal to just up to hydrogen, but it will be equal to 2 times molecular weight of hydrogen. Okay, it should be equal to 2 times molecular weight of the hydrogen, the net molecular weight over here. Okay, so if you go through after putting all the data in the following formula, you will be landing up with the second option instead of third. Okay, so second option is the correct option instead of third option. Okay, now this question, a ray is incident at an angle of incidence I on the surface of a very small angle prism. Okay, so this is my small angle prism, namely A. You are having a light incident at an angle I over here. Now what is he asking? That this light emerges normally from the opposite surface over here, so it is emerging normally over here. Okay, so I made an angle of 90 degree, as you can see in the figure, at this point O. Okay, now if the refractive index of the material of the prism is mu, he have given you, then the angle of incidence is equal to, he is asking you this angle of incidence. Okay, so now I know that this angle, let us name it as PO and this point as R. POR is 90 degree. Angle POR is 90 degree. So this angle will also be 90 degree. Okay, let us name it also. Let us say this point over here is X. So XOR, angle XOR is also 90 degree. So I can say that angle XRO is nothing but it will be equal to 180 degree minus A plus 90 degree. Okay, so it will be equal to 90 minus A. Okay, now if this is equal to 90 minus A, then as you can see, this is the normal, contact normal. Let us name this contact normal as y dash. This is contact normal carrying an angle 90 degree. So we have to find this angle over here. Let us name this angle as theta angle. So this theta angle will be equal to 90 degree minus 90 minus A, you will be landing with A. So theta is coming out to be A. Now you are going from medium 1 to medium 2, which is your prism. So I know that sine I equal to mu times of sine, and R here is nothing but angle theta, okay, by refractive law itself. So I am having, if I am taking small angle approximation, I equal to mu and sine theta will be equivalent to A. Theta is equal to A, okay, and small angle approximation says that sine theta will be equal to theta, and theta is A. So I equal to mu into A. So my third option is the correct option, okay. Now let us move to the next question. Two cylinder A and B are of equal capacity and are connected to each other via stopcock. A containing an ideal gas at a standard temperature and pressure, B is completely evacuated. The entire system is thermally insulated. Okay, now the stopcock is suddenly opened. The process is isothermal. Now, in the question itself, he is saying that the entire system is thermally insulated. So you can say that the problem or the system is isothermal, okay, thermal insulated. He have given you this in the question itself, so no point of thinking about anything over here, okay. The energy equivalent of 0.5 gram mass is, now you know that E equal to mc square. Now you have to calculate the energy. 0.5 into 3 into 10 to the power 8 whole square. This is speed of light. Speed of light. Now you guys can calculate for the energy, okay, and you can put into comment section that what answer you are getting. Now let us see this question over here. A body is weighing 72 Newton on the surface of the earth. What is the gravitational force he will be experiencing at a height equal to half of radius of earth? So direct formulation you can use by the gravitation chapter. You know that F equal to G M M R plus H whole square. This is the effective distance. H is the height. Okay. Now here H equal to R by 2. Replace H by R by 2 over here. You will be landing, after calculating everything, you will be landing with 4 by 9 G M M by R square, where R is the radius of earth. And you know that 4 by 9, this is having a value of mg, okay, mass of the body into acceleration due to gravity, okay. So now he have given you that this mg is nothing but 72 over here, okay. So 4 by 9 of 72, 4 by 9 of 72 gives you 32 Newton. So the correct answer is 2. The solid which have a negative temperature coefficient of resistance. Okay, by memory I can say that it is semiconductor only. Okay, nothing fancy about this question. Now in this question he is asking you the phase difference in between the displacement and the acceleration. As you know that displacement is nothing but x equal to a sine omega t in SHM. Acceleration is nothing but double derivative of this displacement landing up with you a omega square, and there is a minus, you have to take care of that also, sine omega t. If you do some mathematical manipulations, you will be landing up with the following expression. Okay, now if you calculate the phase difference in between the two, phase of second minus phase of one, you will be having omega t plus phi minus omega t equal to phi. So my phase difference is nothing but pi radians. Okay. A screw gauge has least count of 0.01 millimeter and there are 50 division in the circular scale. The pitch of the screw gauge is, now it is a direct formula you'll be knowing from your lectures, that pitch upon number of divisions gives you the least count. Put the data into the following formula and you will be having the pitch. Number of divisions are given as 50 division. Least count is nothing but 0.01. Now please comment. Now you have to take care that this is in millimeter. Now please comment in the comment section which of the following option is correct option. Okay. Now a guitar is having two strings A and B made up of material that are slightly out of tune. and they are producing a beat of 6 Hz over here. When the tension in B is slightly decreased, the beat frequency is increased to 7 Hz. If the frequency of A is given to be 530, you have to find the frequency of B. Now, FA minus FB, from the first case itself, it's given 6. Okay. And in the second, he is saying that FA minus FB dash equal to 7. If you are changing the tension, a slight bit. Okay. So now I can say that from the first expression, because I have to calculate for the original frequency, I can say that FA is nothing but 530 minus FB equal to 6, giving me FB equal to 524. So my second option is the correct option. We'll just neglect this one over here because tension is being changed over here. Okay, we have to calculate for the original case. Okay, take care, this in mind. Two particles of mass 5 kg 10 kg respectively are attached to the two end of the rigid rod of length 1 meter. Okay, 5 kg and a 10 kg mass rigid rod of 1 meter length. The center of mass of the system from the 5 kg mass, let us say it is COM at a distance D over here. So the direct formula of D is nothing but M1x1 M2x2 upon M1 plus M2. Now you know that you are taking this 5 kg as origin. 0 0, this 5 kg is a origin. Okay, this is at origin, so x1 is nothing but 0, x2 is nothing but 1, and you are given with m1 and m2 values also. Okay, you can put it over here. Okay, you can put it over here. So m2 is nothing but 10 kg, then 1 meter, 10 plus 5. Okay, so you'll be landing up with 67 centimeter approximately. Okay, so your third option is your correct option. You have to keep it in mind that the answer you are getting here is in meter. Okay, and I have converted everything in centimeter over here. So this 1 meter is being converted into 100 centimeter. Then I have taken care of the answer itself. Okay, now let us move to the next question. He is saying that find the torque about the origin when a force of 3 j cap acts on a particle whose position vector is 2k cap. Now you know that tau equal to r cross f from the formulation itself. R is given to you as 2k cap cross, this is the cross product, and f is given to you 3j cap, giving you 6k cap cross j cap. By the virtue of vectors, you will be knowing that the answer will be minus 6 I cap. Okay, so third option is the correct option. A light with an average flux of 20 Weber per centimeter square is falling on a non-reflective surface at normal incidence having a surface area of 20 centimeter square. The energy received by the surface during the time span of 1 minute is. So the concept says the energy will be I, A and T, where I is the flux, A is the area, T is the time. Flux is given to you Weber per centimeter square. Area is also given in the centimeter square form over here. Time is given in minute. You should convert it into seconds. Okay, seconds. Then you can have your answer as 24,000. Okay, 24,000. So 24 into 10 to the power 3 joule. A spherical conductor of radius 10 centimeter has a charge of 3.2 into 10 to the power minus 7 coulomb. Distributed uniformly. What is the magnitude of electric field at a point 15 centimeter from the center of the sphere? At a point 15 centimeter. Now you should be knowing that here is the case of where r is very much greater than your radius of sphere itself. Okay, so this sphere will act as a point source, and you know that electric field you can write, because he is asking you about the electric field, you can write as kq by r square. Q is given to you to be 3.2 into 10 to the power minus 7. R is given to you as 15 centimeter. Put it in meter because you are considering the SI unit analogy over here. You will be considering SI units over here. K is a constant, okay, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Put its value over here and you'll be landing up with the value of 1.28 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per Coulomb. Okay, or you can calculate it and put it in the comment section which of the following option is the correct option to you. Okay, simple question. Now, in a certain region of space with volume 0.2 meter cube, the electric potential is found to be 5 volt throughout. So you are having a 5 volt potential throughout. Okay, the magnitude of electric field. Now you know that electric field is nothing but dou V by dou R. Now you are having a potential throughout the space. Okay, you are having potential throughout the space. It is not varying as per the space. Okay, and this quantity over here dou by dou R is the variation in space itself. Okay, variation in space itself from the point of consideration. So you can say that variation in space is 0. So minus dou V by dou R, because my potential is constant, it's giving me a 0. Okay, so my first option is the correct answer. The increase in the width of the depletion region in PN junction diode is due to reverse bias only. Okay, that goes with the theory itself. A 40 microfarad capacitor is connected to a 200 volt 50 hertz AC supply. The RMS value of the current. You will be knowing that RMS value of the current is nothing but Vrms on the Z. And here, because it is capacitor only, Z will be equal to XC. Vrms. Vrms is given to you as 200 volt. XC you have to calculate it. It is nothing but 1 by C into omega. Omega is nothing but 2 pi into F. F is the frequency. Frequency is given to you, which is 50 hertz. Now you can put everything into the following data. Capacitance is given to you as 40 microfarad. Now you can put everything into the following data. Let me give you the value of XC, which I am getting is nothing but 1000 upon 4 pi. Okay, put the following data over here and you'll be landing up with the third option. Now, mean free path of the gas with a molecular diameter d, number density n can be expressed as, it is a direct formula only. Okay, so memory based question. Second option is the correct option over here. For a transistor action, which of the following statement is the correct statement? So base emitter and collector region should be having same doping concentration. Wrong. Base emitter and collector region should have same size. Wrong. Both emitter and junction as well as the collector junction are forward biased. This is also a wrong statement. The base region must be very thin and lightly doped. Yes, it is a correct option over here. So from the theory itself, I can say that my fourth option is the correct option. You have to go through the theory of the transistor itself to crack this question. Light of the frequency is 1.5 times the threshold frequency as given to you. Okay, now it is incident on a photosensitive material. What will be the photoelectric effect if the frequency is half and the intensity is double? Now threshold frequency, as you know, is the deciding guy over here. So let us say that threshold frequency is nothing but nu over here. Let us say it is some kind of nu, and he is saying that the nu I am providing to the surface is 1.5 times of this threshold frequency. Okay, so this nu dash which is I am providing to my surface is 1.5 times of this threshold frequency. Okay, now he is asking you that what will be the photoelectric current is the frequency is halved and the intensity is doubled. Okay, so you are now decreasing the frequency by a half, so you are landing up with 0.7 of nu. Okay, now if you are not emitting a frequency equal to nu or greater than nu, then there will be no photoelectric effect. Now you are giving the surface a frequency of 0.7 nu. Okay, so it is less than that of nu, so I can say that there will be no photoelectric effect whatsoever intensity you give. Okay, whether you double it or triple it. Okay, so I can say that my answer is 0. Now let us look at the following question, which says that a uranium isotopes when bombarded with a neutron generate this product with 3 neutrons and an unknown product over here. Among the following, this which of the following option is the correct option for that unknown product? Okay, so as you know that any element X can be represented as the Z, which is the number of proton, or you can say that it is atomic number, and A, which is your mass number. Okay, which is your number of neutrons plus number of protons. Okay guys, so you're bombarding your U 235 92 with a neutron, leading to formation of this unknown Az, 3 neutrons and a byproduct, another byproduct over here. So let us solve this with the following concept over here. You have to find the value of A and Z. Now as I know that matter can neither be created nor be destroyed, as I can say that from here that Z, the number of protons, will neither be created nor be destroyed. Okay, so 92 minus the number of proton over here given to my this element over here. Okay, 92 minus 36, I'll be having 56. Okay, so I'm having 56 number of protons to my this unknown element X over here. Okay, now the A, regarding the A is nothing but the number of neutrons plus number of protons. Okay guys, let me change the pen over here. Number of neutrons plus the number of protons. So you are having 235 as the total number of neutron and the proton. Okay, plus 1, because you are adding a 1 neutron over here. Now you are subtracting 3 neutron and 89 from it. You are subtracting 3 neutron because you are having over here, then 89, sorry, you are subtracting it. Okay guys, then you will be left with only 144. Okay, so A is having a value of 144. So from the option itself I can say that my first option is the correct option. Okay, now let us move to the next one. The energy required to break one bond of DNA is 10 to the power minus 20 joule. The value in electron volt is, you have to convert this 10 to the power minus 20 joule into electron volt. So what you can do is you can just divide it by 1.6 10 to the power 19. Okay, so whatsoever answer you will be having, now you have converted the energy into the electron volt because you are taking the reference with the electron. Okay, so that's why you are dividing it with the charge of electron. Okay, so the answer is 0.06 electron volt. Okay guys, now two bodies of mass 4 kg 6 kg are tied to the ends of a massless string. The string passes over the pulley, which is frictionless. The acceleration of the system in the term of acceleration due to gravity is, okay, either you can have the direct formula or you can go through the procedure itself. Okay, so I'll go through the procedure. So this is my 4 kg, this is my 6 kg. Okay, so now let us say it is coming with an acceleration a downwards, it is going with the acceleration a upwards. Tension will be same, it will be away from the objects. Okay, mg will be acting 6 into 10, 4 into 10. Okay, now you can write the equation of motion for the 4 and the 6. If I'm writing for the 4 one, okay, for the 4 kg mass I can write it as 4a equal to, because 4 is going into the upward direction, t minus 4 into 10. For the 6a I can write it as 6a, because it is going into the downward direction, 6 into 10 minus t. Solve for the value of a over here, you will be landing up with a equal to 6 minus 4 upon 6 plus 4 into 10. Okay, so g by 5. 10 is nothing but your g, acceleration due to gravity. Okay guys, so g by 5. Now the next question, a wire of length L and area of cross section A is hanging from a fixed support. The length of the wire changes to L1 when a mass m is suspended from its free end. The expression of Young's modulus of elasticity. Now you know that Young's modulus of elasticity is nothing but stress upon strain. Okay, so stress is nothing but mg, strain is nothing but the length, change in length. So now the new length is L1, the old length was L, let us consider, and this is your old length. Okay, so this is my old length. I am having the formula as this. Okay, I forgot about A over here. Okay, so because this is a stress is nothing but force upon area, so force is mg upon A. Okay, you should be taking care of that also. Okay, so I am having this formula over here. Okay, so let's say that my fourth option is the correct option. The average thermal energy of a monoatomic gas is 3 by 2 kBT. Okay, by the memory itself I can say that. Now which of the following graph represent the variation of the resistivity? Okay, so you know that resistivity varies as follow. If you are saying that resistivity, then resistivity varies in the exponential form, rho equal to rho naught e to the power alpha t. So from this expression I can say that one is not correct, second is not correct because exponentially it should increase. Okay, fourth one is not correct because it is decreasing, third one is correct because it is increasing exponentially. Okay, now color code of the following resistance. Okay, so he is giving you that yellow, violet, brown and gold. So I can say that yellow is having a value of 4, violet is having a value of 7, brown is having a value of 1 and gold is having a value of 5%. Now from the concept itself you say that the first two number will form a two digit number, so 47 will make a 47, then into 10, the third color code make the power of 10, so 10 to the power 1, and the last, the gold, silver color codes make the uncertainty. So here uncertainty of 5%. So 47 into 10 to the power 1 plus minus 5%. So first option is the correct option. Young's double slit experiment. If the separation between the coherent sources is halved and the distance of the screen from the coherent sources is double, then the fringe width become. Now we know that fringe width is nothing beta equal to d lambda by d. You are increasing the distance, you are decreasing the slit width. Okay, put it into the following formula. Let us say b dash equal to d dash, which is nothing but 2d into lambda upon d dash, small d dash, d by 2. So you are having 4 times of beta old. Okay, so I can say that I am having a 4 times over here. The capacitance of the parallel plate capacitor with air as a medium is 6 microfarad. With the introduction of a dielectric medium, the capacitance become 30 microfarad. The permittivity of the medium is, he's asking you the permittivity of the medium. Okay, so now what you can do, you can use the theory itself. Okay, so let us go by the question itself. So he's saying that C is 6 in air, so C equal to A epsilon naught by D for air. Okay, which is 6. Now if you are taking for a medium, then C will be equal to K into A epsilon naught upon D, where K is the dielectric medium. Okay, so it is given as over here to be equal to 30 microfarad. Okay, now what you can do is you can take the ratio of both of them, you will be landing up with the value of K equal to 5, and you know that K is nothing but equal to epsilon by epsilon naught. Okay, this is given to you, this is given to you, permittivity is given to you. Okay, this is the permittivity of that particular medium, this is the permittivity of the free space, it is given to you as follow: 8.85 10 to the power minus 12. So E is 5 times of epsilon naught. Okay, you can write the option which of the following 4 option is correct in the comment section. Please mention it in the comment section. Now dimension of the stresses are, as you know that The stress is nothing, but in the previous question I have told you, it is stress is nothing but force upon area. Force is nothing but mlt minus 2. Area is nothing but L square. So M L inverse T minus 2. Fourth option is correct. Assume that light of wavelength 600 nanometer is coming from a star. The limit of resolution of the telescope whose objective has a diameter of 2 meter. Now here you can apply the direct formula. Let me apply the direct formula over here, which says that resolving power is nothing but A upon 1.22 lambda. Okay, lambda is the wavelength, A is the diameter of the objective as given to you over here. Okay, now you can put all the values over here. You'll be knowing that limit of resolution is nothing but 1 upon resolving power. Put all the values in the following data and you will be left with 3.66 into 10 to the power minus 7. Okay, so my first option is the correct option. A series LCR circuit is connected to an AC voltage over here. Now he is asking you that when L is removed from the circuit, the phase difference between the current and voltage is pi by 3. If instead of L, C is removed, then the phase difference is coming out to be again pi by 3. You have to find the current, you have to find the power factor. Okay, so power factor is nothing but cos phi, and I know that power factor cos phi is nothing but it is R by Z. Cos phi is nothing but R by Z. So I have to calculate for the value of Z over here. Okay, now R is the resistance I know. Now when L is removed, when I remove L, I am having a tan phi equal to minus XC by R, and phi is given to be as pi by 3. Put the value of 10 pi by 3 over here, you will be landing with XC equal to under root 3R. Again, if you remove C, then you are having tan phi as XL over R. Then put the value of the phase which is given to you as pi by 3. XL will be equal to nothing but under root 3R. Now as you know that here in this case XL is equal to XC. XL is equal to XC. Z is nothing but XC minus XL whole square plus R square under root. So I'm having Z equal to R over here. If I'm having Z equal to R over here, I'm having cos phi equal to R by Z, which is equal to R by R equal to 1. So I am having my option as 3 over here. Okay guys, now a short electric dipole has a dipole moment of this. The electric potential is due to the dipole at a certain distance 0.6 from the center of the dipole situated on a line making an angle of 60 degree with the dipole axis. Okay, now let us say this is your dipole axis, this is the certain point, let us say P, this is the line, this is the angle. Okay, so now you have to find the potential, electric potential. You know that V for these kind of cases is nothing but the direct formula of Kp cos theta upon R square, where R is given to you as 0.6 meter. R is given to you as 0.6 meter. The magnitude of dipole is given to you as 16 into 10 to the power minus 9. K is nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Okay, and the value is given. Cos theta, theta is nothing but the 60 degree angle over here, the inclination of that point from the dipole axis itself. Okay, this is the center of the dipole. This is the line joining the point P and the center of the dipole. Okay, now let us look at the following question, which says that an iron rod is having this kind of susceptibility and it is subjected to a magnetizing field of 1200 ampere per meter. You have to find the permeability of the material. Now as you know that susceptibility is given to you as 599. Okay, magnetizing field is given to you as 1200. You know that if you are talking about permeability of that material, you know that mu equal to mu naught mu r. This is the relative permeability of the material, and mu r is nothing but mu x, if I remember correctly, it is nothing but x plus 1. Okay, the susceptibility plus 1. So susceptibility is 500 plus 1, 599 plus 1 gives you 600. Okay, now you have to calculate the permeability of the material. You have got the relative permeability of the material over here. So just put the value of 600 over here. So you will be left with mu naught into 600. So 600 into 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7. You'll be having 24 pi into 10 to the power minus 5. Okay, so that's my third option over here. Okay, now let us move. A long solenoid of 50 centimeter length having 100 turns carries a current of 2.5 ampere. The magnetic field at the center of solenoid is B is equal to mu naught N into I, as you know by the formula itself. Put everything over here. N is given to you here in the question, 100 turns, and the length of the solenoid is 50 centimeters. So N is nothing but turn per unit length. 100 turns upon 50, 10 to the power minus 2. I is the current, 2.5. Mu naught, here is the value of mu naught, 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7. Find the value over here. Okay, so write the value in the comment section. Which of the following values are the correct? So I am having a value of 3. A charged particle having a drift velocity of 7.5 10 to the power minus 4 in an electric field of 3 into 10 to the power minus 10 has a mobility. He is asking you about the mobility. Okay, so what I can do is, I know that drift velocity equal to mobility into the electric field. Okay, so mobility will be equal to the drift velocity upon electric field. Everything is given to you. Okay, the value of drift velocity and the value of your electric field is given to you. Take the ratio and find the answer by yourself. Okay, so please write it in the comment section which of the following values are correct. Okay, the quantities of heat required to raise the temperature of a solid sphere of radii r1 and r2 through 1 Kelvin are in the ratio. Now you have to find the value of the heat of first and the second sphere where radius of both of the sphere are given. Okay, you have to find the ratio. So what you can do is, you know that Q heat is ms delta T. M is nothing but volume into density. S is the specific heat and this is delta T. Now put the volume over here. You will be left with 4 by 3 pi r cube rho s delta T, the value of Q. Now if you take Q1 by Q2, you will be knowing that both of them are copper. Okay, and the raise in delta T temperature are same for both of the cases, and 4 by 3 is being a constant. You are left with r1 cube by r2 cube. You are having the value of r1 by r2 as 1.5 to the power cube. Okay, so that give you 27 by 8 as your answer. Okay, an electron is accelerated from the rest through a potential difference v volt. If the de Broglie wavelength of electron is something like this, the potential difference is. Now as you know the relation in between de Broglie wavelength and the potential, I can say that this wavelength equal to 12.27 upon under root of V. You can figure out the value of V, which is coming out to be 10 to the power 4 volt for me. Okay guys, now let us move to the next question. Taking into account the significant figure, what is the value of 9.9999 minus 0.0099? 0.0099. As I know that while having an addition or subtraction, the guy which is having least number of significant figure is the king. So if you see over here 1 2 3, 3 significant figure. If you see over here 1 2 3 4, 4 significant over here. Okay, so guy which is carrying the least number of significant figure will win the race, and the answer will be in that form only. Okay, up to that significant figure only. So if I subtract both of them, I'll be landing up with the value 9.9801. Now I cannot write it as 9.9801 because I have to give the confidence up to which I am correct. From the experiment itself, I'm saying that I'm correct up to the 2 decimal places over here. I'm having my digit 9.99 carrying up to 2 decimal places, and I am certain up to 2 decimal places over here. Okay, so I can say that instead of having 9.9801 as the correct answer, I'm certain up to 2 decimal places over here. Okay, so 9.98 is my correct answer. Okay, now a ball is thrown vertically downward with a velocity of 20 meter per second from the top of the tower. It hits the ground after some time with a velocity of 80 meter per second. The height of the tower is pretty much simple question. V square u square 2as. Okay, V is given to you. Okay, it is 80. U is given to you 20. 2 into a is nothing but acceleration due to gravity, which is 10, and a height h. Now you'll be having, after the calculation, you'll be having the value of h to be equal to 300. Okay guys, he have told you that you have to write the g equal to 10 over here. Okay, 300 is the answer. Calculate it by yourself and you'll be having a capillary tube of radius r is immersed in water. The water rise in it to height h. The mass of the water in the capillary is 5 gram. Okay. Another capillary tube of radius 2r is immersed in the water. The mass of the water that will rise in the tube is. Okay. You can write it as the direct formula you can use. Okay. Which says h1r1 equal to h2r2. Now if you want to have the derivation of the following formula, you can just call me on my WhatsApp number 8376896587. You can contact me on this number and I'll give you the answer. Okay, now what you can do is, using the following concept, you can figure out the value of h2, which is having h1 by 2 for me. Okay, after putting the data. Now mass 1 is 5 gram. Mass is nothing but volume into density. Okay, volume into density. Volume is nothing but pi r square into h. So for case 1, it is nothing but pi r1 square into h into 1 into the density of water. Mass 2 is nothing but volume into density pi r2 square into h2 row of water. Okay, so what you can do is, you can take the ratio of both of the following. Okay, you can take the ratio. You know the value of r1 r2, you know the value of h1 h2 from the here itself. Okay, row of water will be same for both of the cases. You will be landing up with the value of m2 as 10 grams. Okay guys, pretty much simple question. Now in this question, a resistance of wire connected in the left gap of the bridge balances a 10 ohm resistance in the right gap. Okay, so you're having a certain resistance R which is balancing a resistance of 10 ohm on the meter bridge. Okay, so I'm balancing a resistance of 10 ohm over here by this resistance R. Okay, in the ratio 3:2. If the length of the resistance of the wire is 1.5 meter, now if the length of this resistance wire is 1.5 meter, then length of 1 ohm resistance of the wire is. Okay, so what he is asking you, that in the present scenario, this unknown R is carrying a length of 1.5 meter. This resistance is carrying a length of 1.5 meter. Okay, now if you want to put a 1 ohm resistance over here, what should be the length of that wire, of that same wire? Okay, so I can say that R by 10 equal to L1 by L2 by my Wheatstone bridge concept, and L1 by L2 is given to me as 3:2. So I'm having R equal to 3 by 2 into 10, which is giving me 15. So I can say that this wire, which is of 1.5 meter long, is carrying a 15 ohm resistance. So I can say that if I have to calculate the length of 1 ohm wire, I have to calculate the gradient over here. So I can say that 1.5 meter is carrying 15 ohms. So this is my length per ohms. Okay, so it is nothing but 0.1 for me. Now I have to calculate for a 1 ohm resistance, so I will multiply this 0.1 with 1 ohm. Okay, so ohm will be cut by this ohm over here, and I will be left with the length which says 0.1. Okay, so 0.1, that is 1 into 10 to the minus 1. Second option is the correct option. Okay guys, now for a logic circuit shown, the truth table is, now as you can see over here, there are two inputs given to you. Okay, then I am having a NOT gate over here. This is a NOT gate, this is NOT gate. So whatsoever I am having over here is negation of whatsoever I am giving to my gates over here, to my input over here. So if I'm having A, I will be having a negation of A. If I'm giving B, I will be having a negation of B over here. Now these are the resultant inputs I will be feeding to this gate. Okay, now this gate, as you can see, is nothing but an OR gate, and an OR gate is having a NOT gate just in front of him. So whatsoever results I'm getting from this OR gate, I will be negating that results also. Okay, so what I can do is I can use the following expression. I am giving these inputs, and by the OR gate itself, by the virtue of OR gate itself, I will be having output as addition of both of the inputs over here. Okay, now I am taking the negation of the inputs, okay, the negation of the result which I am getting from the OR gates over here. Okay, so I will be left with the following expression, and I can say that it is nothing but A bar bar multiply B bar bar. Okay, and it is coming out to be A cross B. It is nothing but a AND gate. So hope you guys loved my lecture, liked my lecture. So please, if you guys loved my lecture, please give it a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe. So if you love my lecture, you can message me on 8376896587 to join my free classroom program also. Okay, so I am teaching a free classroom program online for you guys. I'm in the service of you guys only, so you can take my free classroom program also. So guys, please check out my other videos on HCVMA solution, KVL, KCL tricks, and tricks on various and tricks how to solve your numerical 2 times faster. You can also check out my other videos on JEE Mains solution of 2020 September examination. So we'll meet you in the next lecture guys. Until then, goodbye guys.